What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. And in this video, I am going to talk about something a little bit more serious. I mean, everything kind of is serious, but still, like, this going to really deep dive into some stuff because I finally feel like I can have a conversation and be able to articulate well what I'm trying to get through to y'all without, I want to say making the other person look bad, but not to mention they probably gonna look bad anyway because they did it. But so yeah, that's what we doing. I'm not even gonna lie, it's probably gonna be in like 2 to 3 parts, just so that I'm not making the video. What? Just so I'm not making the video mad long. Um, because it's like it's complex, and I want to make sure I get every level of it. Basically, let me put it like that. So this video is talking about those mother-daughter narcissistic relationships. Now, disclaimer, I cannot stand the word narcissistic. Like, I think reason being is because I feel like people are using it just loosely, but not to that sense, probably what a lot of people do anyway. But I just heard it so much, and when I hear something so much, I just be over, like, I don't be wanting to kind of like share it or speak an opinion on it, even if my opinion might be valid. Um, but yeah, it's about one of those type of relationships because I had one with my mom, and it's it was uh overwhelming, to say the least. And I couldn't understand some stuff, but now that I'm a little older and has had time to kind of reflect on things that happen, and of course God being present in, I guess, the healing part of it. Because low key, I ain't even gonna say, I don't even know, I don't know, y'all. I'm different. I'm a little different. I'm gonna put it like this. I don't heal, if you will, like the regular people. Like, and I don't know if this came from my upbringing where I don't really, a lot of things don't bother me like they would bother somebody else. Um, but I'm not on the path of like lacking empathy or lacking sympathy. Like I have that, so I'm not over there just can't understand other people and lack of things to be able to deal to be able to be within society. But I don't know, like, I think maybe the amount of disappointment from my upbringing probably is the reason why it is what it is. Like, if something happens that didn't that might be so detrimental to somebody else, it's like, to me, it's like, oh, next move. It's not, I don't sit and dwell and stuff like that. um yeah, you're not really going, for the most part, you're not really going to get the kind of reaction that you feel. And that, again, that might be from the upbringing of even what I'm talking about. But I don't know. I ain't gonna lie. I kind of like it because then I'm not affected by everyday things or like things that could be very harmful. I could still figure out a way out of it. Um, but at the same time, like, I know it could be like a fine line between, are you really off your rocker? But no, other things that really show that I'm really not. But I'm just messing around. I'm saying that to say, I am a little different when it comes to handling these type of things. So even as me saying it, it's like, I mean, I'm not gonna spill the whole my whole life, but just certain things that I reflect on, and I'm thinking like, dang, that was very detrimental. And somebody might look at that as like, how are you still able? I tell you all the time, it's by the grace of God. That's the only way. That is the only way that I'm able to continue to go, because I just don't see how some of the mental challenges that I had to go through, I'm still able to be who I am. And like, so number one, I'll say this is like, so for like this video, this is gonna be me explaining kind of like the type of relationship me and my mom had. So that narcissistic mother-daughter relationship. I feel like my mom often seen herself, or seen me as an extension of herself. And I'll give examples. Like I remember, like she would mention like my hair. So, oh, you have long, pretty hair. And I always wanted that hair. And something about, I think a girl had, I don't know what grade it was, but some grade a girl had really nice hair. And she had mentioned how she would just stare at her hair like they were in school. So she was, the girl used to sit in front of her. She was mentioning how she would stare at her hair. Um, and kind of just like doze off and I'm like, la la land, like I really want that girl's hair, or I really wish I had that hair. Um, when I got older, she tried to kind of make me go to like attend a college that she wanted me to. Like she would suggest colleges that, well, by then she was already like she had already became Christian and stuff like that, but um, she had wanted me to go to a Christian school, and at the time, not that I was rebellious, but like I wasn't rebellious of God, I was more rebellious of her, and unfortunately, she was pushing the whole God thing. So it would, and I used to feel bad too, y'all. I used to feel bad because I used to be like, I hope like, and I used to talk to God like, I hope you don't think like I'm sorry if you think that I am pushing you away, but the way she's doing it, I can't. My mind cannot wrap around it. Like I'm not gonna be able to follow you with how she's doing it. And it wasn't a I'm gonna turn and do something else and go directly against you. I wasn't rebellious to that point. It was just more of like hearing it and just all of it because how she portrayed God to us was just not in the right way for me to be able to receive it. Yeah, that's one of the examples of how she used to try to like why I would be an extension of her. And then two, she would parade me around to outsiders, but inside she acted like she didn't care for me at times. So, uh, for example, I'll give you an example of this. Like I used to, I was a nerd in school, but still love like school stuff still, but I was okay like a nerd. So I was priding myself in getting like straight A's all the time. I cried when I got my first B. Um, and just always was striving to be excellent. And that was just like who I was. I like doing school. I like to get my work correct. And I got rewarded for it back in the day when they had those reward ceremonies and stuff like that. I don't know, they probably still haven't, but I haven't seen one in a long time. I would get mad awards. Um, my teachers always bragged about how good I was and how good of a student I was. And I was just an overall good student. I remember first grade, I had got picked to go see the mayor for in our county, and things like that. Just because I had got straight A's, I think either all it was first grade, so I think I got it for all four marking periods or something like that. So yeah, she used to parade me around like that. Like I always got, or not so yeah, I always got good grades and stuff. So she on the outside to the teachers, oh yeah, that's my daughter, give me a hug, give me a kiss. Like really seemed like she proud of me. Telling people, oh yeah, my daughter got straight A's again, or my daughter did this, or my daughter did that. And it continued as I got older. But like I said, behind closed doors, I never got none of that recognition like that. It was, and if I did, it wasn't like how she was portraying it to the people. So it would be mainly like, good job. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Unless it was something that boost her own image. So she did that to kind of to boost her own image. Like everybody, her telling everybody how good I was and whatever. So she only did it so that she can boost her own ego, you know, and because she would get the recognition from it, oh, you're such a great parent, you're doing such a good job. That's when she could receive it and be happy for me in those moments, like genuinely happy, because it looked like it was her doing as to why I was such a good kid. Um, and she accepted that. But in private, she undermined me and criticized me a lot. And that was to maintain the control and the superiority of me. or over me, I would say. And obviously, at the time, I was a kid, so I didn't really understand too much of it, uh, of how and like what she was doing and the tactics. But now that I'm able to sit and reflect and look, I'm like, oh yeah, that's exactly what it was. And like I had looked this stuff up because I was like, let me see what type of person is this? Because for the life of me, I couldn't just understand. I just couldn't understand how we were always going at it. Like, and I know a lot of times they'll say, oh, mother daughter relationships aren't that good, but I'm just like, well, I see some other daughter relationships that are. So like, what is making us different? But the whole time it wasn't me. One of the hardest things for me to understand was that I think she used to do this um, because she felt threatened by my potential, my youth, and then my independence. And you know what's so crazy? This one I don't get either. How you threatened by my independence when you raised me to be independent? Like this is what you instilled in me. So how you gonna feel threatened by something that you low key taught me? Um, and then I think she saw my potential and where I could go. And then obviously you got some of those women sometimes they'll feel like some people, not even just some women, just a lot of people sometimes just can't cope with the fact that they're getting older. And I can understand it, but not to the point where I'm taking that out on somebody else. Meaning, I do feel like I was just 19 2 days ago. And then all of a sudden now I'm here with three kids and I don't know what happened. And then I feel like I just like 10 years just went past and 10, 12 years just went past and I don't have nothing that I thought I was going to have in that time. So I can understand the dynamic of feeling like you're getting older, but again, and like not knowing when the time coming and maybe not feeling accomplished. But I just don't understand how you could put that onto your child. Like I just I that like, that's why I say I think it was one of the hardest things to like come. My hair is just so big. I'm sorry, y'all. It's like it's day 5 after wash day, and it just be all over the place. Um, or after a wash and go. So yeah, I never understood that. I'm like, what? So, but she definitely felt threatened. And I think in a way, it's envy. Um, because it's like looking at your child and seeing yourself in your child sometimes a can feel like can make you feel like it's something that you lost or something that you deserved. So then you kind of look at them to make the moves that you wanted to make when you were their age. And again, this was something that was so hard for me to understand because I just don't you made me. I am an extension of you in a sense, but not in a negative way. Like, you should have raised me you should be confident in the fact that you raised me well enough to do well, if not better than you. And I think with those mother daughter relationships that are narcissistic, um, the mother cannot get a grip that that child might be better than them, and they probably low key don't even like that. And it's not even like better in a sense of I'm better than you. You ain't never gonna be nothing. It's more of just they are able to. You know what it is, yo? I think you know what I think it is. They see that we have a clear path, and because they are where they are in life, that they've already experienced some things that they want to now have a do over, and life don't work like that. So they try to have that do over by telling that child what to do, how to do it, when to do it, undermine anything that they want to explore, so that they can have the opportunity to get in the daughter's head and fulfill whatever they felt they lost or that they are deserved. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. That just came like, thank you God, that just came to me. Mm-hmm. So with that becomes this dynamic of placing the daughter in a golden child slash scapegoat child, right? So the golden child is where the daughter can do no wrong. Like, you cannot make not one mistake, even though life is full of mistakes. We're gonna make plenty of mistakes. Um, and that is because you have to represent this child, or you have to represent the mother well. She don't want to look like no fool. Now you can't make her look like no fool, but you have to essentially be perfect when no one is, and successful, because again, it will all go back to representing her. And if she's not represented well, that's where that scapegoat dynamic comes from, where you become like the black sheep of the family. And that's exactly what I am. That's exactly what I am. Um, I was blamed for problems that I did not do, emotionally dumped on, and then targeted when things went wrong. Like, things that went wrong and problems that I did not stir up always. Because here's the thing, if you're trying to tell me that I can do no wrong, you're putting that into my head. You're making sure that you chastise me every single time I make a mistake or I do something. So now you got me hyper self aware of what I'm doing. So I'm always trying to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. And then it comes that pleasing too. Like, low key, I was trying to please her, that, but this was more in the beginning. After a while, I didn't care. I was just like, girl, it is what it is. I'm gonna be respectful, but I realized it wasn't you. It was me doing the work. It was never her. But in the beginning, I would definitely try to, like, because I wanted that recognition. Like, so I was trying to like please her in the sense of doing good, making sure I get the grades and making things for her, and just hoping that she recognizes me. And she just never did, because it was never her intention to. I'm just supposed to be the trophy in a sense, to take off display, show to the world that I'm this shiny object, and look at what I have, but then put me back down and never touch me again. And that's insane. Like that's insane that I think about it. So, um, she definitely used to, blame me for some stuff. Even if my brother or sister was the one that did it, I would get in trouble for it. She still do it to this day. You're the reason, da 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 da. Like, or always trying to find a reason. Girl, I am not the reason. That somebody else. I cannot make nobody do nothing that they don't want to do. But I think she didn't like. I think she doesn't like that I can have a positive influence on my brother or sister, where then that shines. Thank you, God. Oh, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that until now. Thank you, Lord. But I think it's. I think she. Dang, that's crazy. I think she is like nervous, because if I start being that positive influence for them and they're looking up at me, unbeknownst to me, because I'm not directly trying to tell them to look up to me. I'm not even trying to turn no kids away from her. I'm just like, I'm just doing me. I'm just being who I am. But if they start looking at me, then that will take that attention off of her. And then she can't be the puppet master no more. And boy, that's explosive. That's explosive, because again, what did I say in the beginning? She was using me as the trophy, but then put me down. And when she put me down, she was putting me down in private. So my brother and my sister seen it, so it's looking like, oh, she's not really that shiny thing. Y'all come look at me. I'm the reason that she's like that. I gave her this, or I made a way for this, or she's my child. So, it's those things. So then my brother or sister was never going to look at me as me being the reason why this is happening. They're looking at it as she being the reason why this is happening. And so they would continue to keep their eyes on her. But once I became so independent of her, that now that positive that she was getting from my accolades is now the positive that's turned back onto me, because it is my accolades. And I'm just reaping what I'm sowing, and realizing that I'm sowing it. At first, I didn't realize it because I'm a kid, but now Now I had realized, hey, I'm the one that's sowing this stuff. Now, by all means, this is by the grace of God, but I'm just saying, at this time, this is how I was thinking. Um, But it's my accolades who's doing this. I'm doing the schoolwork. I'm understanding it. I'm doing the tests. I'm getting the grades. Like, it's not her helping me in no way, shape, or form. And then so instead of them being so hyper focused on her, now they turning their heads to, oh, well, Jazz is doing this. So if Jazz is doing this, then I can do it. And if I can do it, they become independent of her. Wow. 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 And then she has no one. Then she has no one to puppet master. She has no one to bully. She has no one to be in the smoke and mirrors. She has no one to pull the facade over the head. Like, yo, that's crazy. That's crazy that I just recognized that. But see, sitting and being able to think like I'm healed. I'm healed now because what she does no longer affects me. I think it stopped affecting me once I had my daughter. But I think a little bit after that, that was back in like 2016, 2017. I was trying to be over it well before that, but we just was still talking. She would just make me emotional. She's the only one that was making me cry, and that's how I knew. I'm not even a crier, but if you can, but she was the only one that could instantly get me upset and make me cry, and I was like, yeah, something not right. I gotta stop, like regardless of whatever. And for me, I had to go no contact. Some people don't have to do that. However, you can cope with it and deal with a person like this, then do it. Um, because it's all for your own sanity. You don't want to. They will gaslight the mess out of you, and you just don't want to have to deal with those things on a day to day basis when you're trying to figure out life for your own, for yourself. But wow, that's crazy. I think that she expected me to fulfill unmet dreams of hers, but I think she was living vicariously through me. I'll say too, I know a lot of the times, like, she used to be honest about what we wore. And the crazy thing is, we never wore nothing like outrageous. Um, but me and my sister are pretty girls, so it's like you're bound to get attention from guys anyway. But it was like if she felt like your jeans were too tight, or if she felt like your shirts was too tight, then she was gonna say something about it, and it was kind of try to make it seem like it was your fault as to why the men was looking when the whole time I am not that man's eyes. Like these men look, they will look at anything. There's been plenty of times I done walk around to the store, around the corner to the store in pajamas and a doobie, and then they still beep beep, stop him. What did I say before? I said emotionally she used to say stuff too. So like she or emotional dumping on me, right? So she and this is how like so if you understand, let me know in the comments if you resonate with this. She used to tell me, "Oh, you're so grown for your age. You understand um stuff that like your brother and sister just don't. So this is why I tell you certain things." And it was emotional stuff. And while I was interested, because at the end of the day, she's my mom, so I was trying to like I wanted to hear her out, like I wanted to honestly I wanted to understand why she was the way she was, so I wanted to get a better understanding of it. Um, but I am very grown for my age, or wise thinking for my age, so it made sense at that time. But that's what she used to say to me, and then she'll proceed to tell me something that was emotional, because she was very that's the thing about it too. She was very vulnerable with me from time to time. Um, but it wasn't as like often. But when she did, it could be like some heavy stuff. Like she might tell me something that happened in her past that has me like, okay, maybe that's why. And that stuff was heavy, but I'm a kid. I'm 16. I'm 17. Why would I know what to do with that? Like, if anything, I'm supposed to be dumping something on you. I was never able to dump nothing on her. So but she did tell me a lot of that stuff too. um, as I started to get a little older, and would tell me that I just was, wise for my age or whatever. Now, I'll say this. This is one of those ones that I could not understand either. She is very I used to get that she was jealous of me. And I remember I was 17, and me and her got into something. I don't know what it was about. It was something because when she became the guy, it's like she replaced a hole by filling it with the Bible, but it was kind of like in an overbearing way. Um, But I remember I was 17. She had just, I think something happened to my car, broke down, something like that. And she wound up giving me hers because she wound up getting another car. So the car that I have is no longer her car. I was working and everything. So it wasn't like I wasn't paying for gas or my insurance. I had everything covered. Um, but she did not like for us to listen to music. So she was like, oh, that secular music, y'all know them type of church folk. So she had found an iPod. She found an iPod of mine, but it was the iPod Touch. So it was like the phones, but it was just all music. We not that old, y'all. Y'all should know what them iPod Touches are. But those touches, when you hit play, you could hear the music out loud without having the headphones in. So she hit play somewhere and heard the music, got mad that it was what it was, and she threw it in the trash. I wasn't home, I was somewhere else. So when I came in the house, she instantly on like, oh, we need to talk. I'm like, oh. Like when you come, that's like a man, that's like a girlfriend or a boyfriend telling you we need to talk. We're breaking up. We was breaking up every single like day. Like it was exhausting. But she was like, we need to talk. And she was like, oh yeah, you listening to that secular music? Nah, nah, nah. I'm just looking like, girl, what are you talking about? I just came in. Like, what do you mean I'm listening to the secular music? And the crazy thing is, I knew I left my iPod because I used to have this jacket. I used to think I was cute. I was cute, but that's not the point. I had this black jacket, those jackets that only went to the hips, like to the waist part. So, it was nice and tight but cute, or whatever. And then I had these my favorite jeans on. So, looking looking like a little something back then. I had a couple pounds like she had saw. And I mean, not that she saw, but the pockets were real thin. It was just enough to have your hands in there so your hands ain't cold. But it wasn't really something. It was more stylish rather than like them baby fat Jones. But it wasn't baby fat because I had money like that. So I used to try to put my stuff in my pocket before I leave, but the iPod Touch was as big as the phone. So when you would put the phone in, half of the iPod Touch, or the iPod Touch was as big as the iPhones, but so when you would put the phone into your pocket, half of the iPod Touch would be out. So if I sat down, it's coming out. And I think that's what I did before I had left. So I knew I left it, but I was just like, whatever, I'm not going back around just to go get my iPod Touch. I didn't think she was. And it was so thin at the time that when it fell in between the couch. Because I remember where I had it, where I was, and somehow you find it in between the couch. Like, girl, please. Um, and she threw my iPod away, y'all. I was upset because at the time I was working at where was I working at? I think I was working at Forever 21. So she threw my iPod away, and I was out. So when I come in, I'm like, she's telling me something. I'm looking like, girl, what you talking about? And then she like, yeah, something. And the whole time I'm thinking, well, where's my iPod? Like, why would you even touch it? Why would you play the music? I listen to other music. I don't listen to what you want me to listen to. So why would you play that music? And she was just kept going on and on, whatever she was saying about it. I'm just like irritated. So now I'm like, all right, like, but then I'm not giving her no type of energy. And y'all know, if y'all ever had to deal with a narcissist, you cannot not ignore. You cannot ignore them. They will have an issue. Um, and it wasn't like I was ignoring what she was saying. I just was over it. Like, yo, I come in this house every day and you got a problem with it. Like, I don't. I'm gonna be respectful, but are we done? It's like that. It's like I'm not trying to argue with you, but she was very provoking. Um, so I simply asked, like, where my iPod at? And I remember she was quiet. She ain't say nothing. I'm looking like, I do. I said, so I'm like, you're not gonna say nothing? She was like, I was like, so what you threw it in the trash? Because now she not talking. Like, girl, tell me what happened. I'm like, so what you threw it in the trash? She like, yeah, I sure did. And I'm like, girl. And that's when she kind of got a reaction out of me because I'm like, that wasn't yours to throw in the trash. I bought that with my own money. And at the time I'm 17, so a 17-year-old ain't got that much money. They was paying, if I was working at Forever 21, they was only paying me like $8. I was getting paid $8 an hour. That wasn't nothing. And I had a phone bill because she for sure wasn't paying no cell phone. Ain't never paid a cell phone bill. Um, and I had insurance. It was just like it was. Oh, she irritated me so bad that day. So anyway, we got into it, and then I'm like, now she get the reaction, and we going at it a little bit. So I'm just like, I'ma leave, like, and it's like, as soon as I said that, you're not going anywhere. I'm like, yes, I am. She's like, no, you're not. So she gets up. Um, when I said I was gonna leave, I think I stood up and took the keys out of my pocket, or I just took the keys out of my pocket. It was something like that, but I had the keys in my hand. She snatched them keys up my hand. You ain't going nowhere with my car. I'm like, that's not even your car no more. That's my car. Like, I'm paying for this stuff on it. What you talking about? So I said, all right, I'm still leaving. Like, that's not stopping me. I know how to walk, girl. So I left, and I never forget. I walked to my aunt's house, and I was looking for my aunt, but my aunt wasn't there. So I sat there, and on the way there, I was crying because I was just upset. Like, I just don't understand. I just didn't understand what her issue was. It was always an issue with me, and I was never doing nothing. Like, I tried to do my best as far as staying on a straight and narrow path, but she just always act like I was squiggling, and it was never that. So I'm on my way to, I'm over there, I'm crying and whatnot. It's cold as heck. I remember it was cold. It was brick outside. Um, but like I said, I was looking cute, had my hair straight, and I was looking like thin hair long, whatever, whatever. Had a couple people try to holler at me. I'm in my feelings right now. Don't but I had to walk a little ways because my aunt wasn't there, and I remember my uncle being there, and he was asking me like, it's like as soon as I got to their house, it just all of it, because I was trying to keep it in, but it all just started coming out, and I was bawling, and he was like, "What's like, what happened? Like, hold on, I know you want to talk to your aunt, but like, you just sitting here crying. Like, I want to know, and I want to see if I can help you." So I was talking to him for a little bit. He never understood why she is the way she is, so he offered me. It was more of just like he just didn't know. Like, nobody knew why my mom was the way she was. So at that moment it was just more of like he could offer me that comfort, which I appreciate, because at the end of the day, a girl was bawling her eyes out. So um I was like, all right, I'm gonna sit here and wait for her because it's cold outside, and she took the car, so I gotta walk. So I never forget, my aunt came in. My uncle was like, yeah, Jazz here, da da. So she came right in earning clothes. I don't know what was going on. I just remember her earning clothes, and I'm talking to her. And I'll never forget, she had said to me, she was like, "You think she might be jealous of you?" And at that moment, I was like, "No, because what, jealous of what? I ain't got nothing. Like, in my head, I don't have nothing. What are you talking about? I have to live under your roof. I'm only making $8 an hour. I think I was out of school, but either way, like, what is it that I have that you want?" I don't. You would have thought, the way my mom was treating me, you would have thought I did something to her man. Like, girl, it was never that. Like, what are you talking about? So I never forget when she asked me that, because it never, I was like, no. And I think somebody else had told me that before too. And I was like, how? How are you jealous of your daughter? Like, as I got older, how are you jealous of your daughter? I am literally, like, I was literally made by you. How can you be jealous of me? You taught me the stuff that I know today. What is there to be jealous about? Because all the stuff that you taught me, you already have. So where's the jealousy part? Child, so I just never understood it, but it stuck with me. As time went past, that's when I started realizing, like, yo, she really might be a jealous mom. Like, that really might be a thing, because it seemed like she was in competition with me when I wasn't in competition with her, and she was in competition with my growth and my independence and my strong mind. And she used to say stuff like, yeah, you remind me a lot of myself. But I could never put two and two together, because my mind just wasn't developed to be able to understand that. I didn't get how we could ever get, like, how a mother could ever be jealous. And I still can't get it to this day, because I don't look at my daughter as Even if my daughter was older and she surpasses me, girl, I want you to surpass me. That mean I did something right. Like, what are we talking? Like, the whole point of me being here before you is to set you up so that you can surpass me and do greater things. Like, what? But she also has an issue with like superiority, and I'll we'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about that in the second video because, like I said, y'all, there's layers to this. Like, this was mainly just the me and her relationship, like explaining how it happened without actually giving the stories about it, because some of the stories can be disturbing, and I ain't even really trying to get on here and I ain't really trying to get on here and talk about it like that. Like, I'm talking about my experience, but I wanted to make sure that I did it in a respectful way, but a way that people can understand, connect to it, because it's plenty of women out here who has that. Like, me and my mom don't have a relationship now, and that's not because of me. I've extended the olive branch so many times, but I had to learn that I had to set a boundary and I had to stick to it. And if she wasn't willing to accept that, it's nothing I can do. Like, I've tried, but I can't keep trying to the point where I am still being hurt in that process, knowing that she is the only one that can get me like that. Now, I will say God has worked on me so much because she can't get me upset no more. Like, every conversation we used to have, it always ended in me feeling so drained. It's like she was a literal vampire sucking the blood out of me every time we had these conversations. I did not want to do nothing afterwards. I did not want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to think about nothing. I didn't want to cook. I just wanted to lay down sometimes. I didn't even want to, like, I just needed a moment because it every conversation always got so intense, even if it never started off intense. But I just happened to get to a point where I'm like, we not gonna keep acting like things are happening a certain way when they're not. Like, I don't live in fantasy land. I live in reality. So if you're gonna say that I did this and I know that's a flat out lie, I can't accept that no more. Because that's what you used to do when I was younger. You used to blame me. I was the scapegoat for everybody and their problems. And that wasn't fair to me before. So now I'm at the point where I'm protecting myself where she should have been the one that was protecting me too. I'm just now realizing that the ultimate protection is God. And I would be able to protect myself if it wasn't for him protecting me, if it wasn't for him jumping in and showing me who he is and bringing me back to him, because I was so far away from how she used to try to portray God that I was like, if this is what it is, I don't want it. Like, she just did it in all the wrong ways that I was just like, I don't want it. And again, it's not to be rebellious to him. It was just more of just how it was displayed to me. And I couldn't connect to it on any level, on any level. And I had to realize that she was a emotionally absent mother. I had to realize that because I used to always be like, yo, you don't know me. You don't know the type of child that you had. Like, we've been in this house for how many years? You've known me all my life. And you still think I'm one way. You choose to believe that I'm this way. Like, you never heard anything I said. Anything emotionally I couldn't come to her about. Because she was, from off the rip, was going to judge. She was going to judge me instantly. And I didn't, after a while, I didn't care to hear her opinions on anything. Um, but she was there as far as physical presence, but she wasn't there emotionally for me. And that's very damning because it's confusing. I don't know what to think as a kid. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Because I can physically see that you're here, but I can also physically feel that you're not here. In my mind, I know you're not here. Like, so it's confusing as a child to try to comprehend that your mom is here, but she's not here. Like, she here, but she low key don't like you, or she here, but she don't want to hear what you got going on. It's like, it was, I would rather you just not have been here for real. Like, that would have been, because then I could make up a version of you that I wanted to be true. But sitting in what I was sitting in, this is the actual version. I can't make none of this up. This is all what happened. And I just thank God that it did not break me and that it did not change who I am. And that's how I know God's hand is involved, because by far the mental control she tried to have and did have at once when I was a kid, but once I got, like I said, became independent of her, that was a dub. But I could have been mentally captive. I could have and could still be mentally captive from the type of stuff she used to say and she used to do, and me not being able to have an outlet. Like the only outlets I have is my friends, but all friends at teenage years, we all got our issues with our moms. Um, so a child can only give but so much advice to another child. Like, so that's how I know God's hand was there, and He really kept me sane. That's the best way to put it. Like, He really kept me sane because what I had to realize is that from these narcissistic mother daughter relationships, the daughter often, and I can speak for myself, end up very self critical, very self critical, can be confused, and even emotionally wounded. And that's why I say I thank God to the 10th factor, because I'm not. The only thing I'll say that I probably did get was being very self critical of myself. And my personality has always kind of been that anyway. Like, I want to make sure everything is perfect type of thing. So I'm handling that on, like, I'm working on that now, um, to realize that it's okay to not be perfect. And it's not really looking, it's just what I do. It's because I'm the type of person, I just strive for excellence. So if it's not looking like how I want it to look, then I'm looking at it as a negative, and it's not necessarily that. Like, you, at the end of the day, that thing still got done. Um, so I would say that I took away, for sure, took away that, like, being very self-critical of myself, confused. I'll say confused in a way of, I would say yes too, because I think I had mentioned in a video before where I was like, I don't even know if I was gonna be able to give my daughter the same type of love that I was looking for. Like, I knew I was capable of it because I love kids. Like, anybody that know me know I love me some kids. So I knew that I had that mother in nature and spirit, but at the same time, I knew them genes came from, I was gonna say her name because then they would have rhymed, but I'm not gonna say it. But I knew them genes come from her too, and I'm like, dang. So is it something that But what I had to realize is, like, narcissism, you're not born with that. Like, that's something that's taught. Like, a lot of things that's taught, and we'll get into that in a second video. But in my head at the time, I was like, am I gonna end up like her? Like, I really don't want to. I want to have a really good relationship with me and my daughter. And like I tell you all the time, me and my girl's locked in. Like, we don't even play like that. That girl, I tell you all the time, I could tell that girl the sky is pink. She gonna believe me. It's if it's some way I can convince her that the sky is pink, even though she don't see it, and I'm like, oh no, it's gonna change. She gonna believe me. She gonna believe me. So me and her, we cool. We cool. We gonna forever be cool. It's definitely a different dynamic, because I am a different person, separate to her. And I think that's what she kind of didn't want me to realize, that me being separate from her, I could still thrive. And, low key, that's massive mentality. I ain't even, you know what I'm saying? Trying to keep me enslaved, but your girl out now, we out. Eyes on my own now. But nah, yeah, like, I just had to realize, like, it could leave you with some stuff. But like I said, God really changed me and has guided me this entire time. I just didn't know it, and then now I'm even here to be able to talk to y'all. And Loki, I mean, I hope this is some healing for, like, people who come across this video. Um, just to know, just to know that you ain't crazy, because she's. It always just to just have me feeling like, what is going on? How did we get here? I literally did nothing. I was just born. Like, why are we fighting about? And what are we fighting about again? Like, so I hope at some, maybe this is just like step one of being able to be like, all right, look, if you're looking for some answers on the type of things, like, that you're experiencing, just know for sure, y'all, you can come out of it. Like, I'm out of it. And me and my mom, we are on no contact based off of me because she don't respect the boundary, and that's just what it is. Like, you just got to get more stern with that person. If you can, I would say, if you can continue to talk to her or have to be around her, you have to basically compartmentalize. This is what I did. Separate what's going on, the chaos and the confusion, and focus on what is ahead of you. So like for me, I focused on things I like, which is like school and stuff, or I would try to avoid her in the best way possible. And if I had to be around her, just didn't really say too much. You kind of just got to make it easier on you for your own mental. Um, and um, I got into sports and stuff. So the less time I had home, the less time we had to get into it because she was working, so she had to get up and go to work at a certain time. So the less time that I was there to be able to interact with her, the less time I had or she had to be able to try to, get in my head some way, somehow, or mess my day up. And just look for the positive. I couldn't wait to go to college. I was like, yo, I can't wait to go to college to really like breathe. Because at that point, I felt like I really couldn't be myself, and I wasn't even trying to wild out. I just wanted to chill, like really be who I am, and not have to hide nothing. And unfortunately, I had to in her home. Um, so I would say definitely compartmentalize just to be able to separate the two, the chaos from, the growth and where you're trying to go. Don't take the stuff personal. Unfortunately, I know that's a hard thing to say because it's your mom, but it's what I had to realize is it's something deeper within her that she don't even realize that's happening. And mothers and or daughters and kids in general love their moms or love their parents. So you will always try to give them the benefit of the doubt, but you can't fight fire with fire when you're not strong enough. Like now I feel like me and her can have conversations, we could go toe to toe without her getting that reaction out of me, because at the same time those reactions that she get out of you is fuel for her, where your intentions are pure, and it's never going to be, it's going to forever be that battle, because it's a superiority thing, and she's never going to see that until she can work on herself and see where she's wrong. But you can't make a person see where they're wrong. They have to see it for themselves. And biblically, God is only going to be the one to be able to show them, like to help them that by conviction. And I'm gonna tell y'all this though. This is a little bit of this is a little bit of positive on the daughters that are dealing with this type of stuff. I don't care what no mom say. They are dealing with that conviction in private. You hear me? The stuff that they are doing, they are dealing with that conviction. My mom used to act so hard to everybody. Like it don't nothing affect her. She just big dog. Whole time you crying at night. So saying it to say God is watching, he hear your tears, he see them, he feels them, he knows that you are hurting. And once again, I'm gonna say it again: vengeance is not ours; it's the Lord's. He's going to get that for you. Like it's plenty of nights she was in there crying, and she would never say what she was crying for. But I know it's plenty of people who has told me. She said she feels this type of way, but never expressed it to me. They are cowardly in a sense where they can't really tell you how they feel, even if they really want to try to make that relationship work. It's something in them that can't do it. The narcissism in them, they can't do it. And because they first have to like submit to they got to submit to their own ish, and they don't want to see the wrong in anything that they do. That's part of that narcissistic behavior. So just know that it's definitely making them feel some type of way. You're just never going to know it. And that's why it's always good to focus on yourself and never on someone else, because looking at looking back at it now, she was hurting at the same time. She just didn't know how to deal with that hurt. So that hurt was now put onto me. And it's unfortunate because you messed up a relationship, but God always uses negatives to create positives. So it helped strengthen me for me to now walk into what I'm supposed to walk into and be the woman that I'm supposed to be, and be able to handle some real life stuff, with ease. Um, and that was nothing other than by the grace of God. Because if I had not gone through that, who's to say where I would be? We could never tell. But just in case you need to be like, I need to get my little one up. I don't want to be the bigger person. I'm telling you, you ain't got to get the one up. But trust me when I tell you, they are feeling it regardless if they want to come back and say that they are. So y'all, if y'all like this video, if y'all know a mom-daughter relationship that's like this, if y'all are in one, comment below, like, run it up, share, anything. Let's get this out there because listen, I know I'm not the only one, and I know uh, it's a hard situation. It's a hard pill to follow. To follow. It's a hard pill to swallow, but it's light on the other side of the tunnel. So hit that like button, subscribe, comment, share, and stay tuned for part 2.